Afternoon, everybody in the VHR Cyan here. Everyone on YouTube, it's great to see you. What I'm going to do today is just give a quick overview of couple of the raid essentials that I found consistently not being present. For example, when I interact with people, I know that overall Blizzard's population for World of Warcraft has dropped in recent months due to WOD and the lack of content and entertainment value, honestly, that's associated with it. So what I wanted to do was kind of give an elemental video that helps explain cheers, some of the elements that you want to make sure that you're looking for. Okay, so first and foremost, this is Google. It's a great search engine. I suggest you use it on a consistent basis. There's two elements that you can start with using Google for the element of best in slot, right? So you type in best in slot, and then, whatever you want to look at. So we'll do Holy Paladin first, right? A couple of these, as you can see, I've already clicked on. One is at Icy Veins. This one here was one of the forum posts that I actually found giving a list like so for Holy Paladins. It gives, it's really well done, actually. And I believe this one was posted on the 24th, all right, of June, right? So literally within a few days prior to the release. And then there's always stuff that's going to follow up where they give additional insight to their opinions and whatnot. And so that's a great way to approach it. Another one you can do too is going to Ask Mr. Robot. You click on here. You load in your character, right? Top 6.2 raid tools also. They got two of these here for it'll do an analysis and it'll sit there and it'll look at everything. What you can do down here is you click on this button here and it'll do best in bag, best in slot. So you could click on it, and what it'll do is it'll optimize it, right? And elements that you can do versus your current gear. So for example, I think this is listed as a Seraphim build, and it shows the adjustments that I can make, as far as what I can put on what and what I can do to improve as a tank, to make some adjustments overall. Okay, so it's a really easy way to be able to kind of find the best piece that you have versus what you don't have, and kind of be able to make adjustments from that step forward. Now, the next thing that I want everybody to be able to understand is logs. Okay, you want to be successful at raiding, you have to be able to sit there, take a step back, okay, and reevaluate what you're doing. You can't believe that you're doing everything as perfect as you can, because first off, you're never going to do it perfect, okay, unless Blizzard makes the class so easy to play that you're literally, for example, pressing one button and you've got nothing else that you have to do throughout the entire event. So you're literally like one, right? So that's not the case. Most classes have multiple buttons, different thresholds to be able to increase output numerically, and also multipliers to improve that through cooldowns, ring use, best in slot, not only tier. So there's all these elements that add to the differences. But what you have to be able to do is say, well, what can I do to improve myself on content on a consistent basis? And I'm going to show you how simple it is and how quickly it can be done, that you can sit there and put yourself in a position to be able to learn quite quickly. Okay? So what we're going to do is we go up to new tab, type in warcraftlogs.com. Greatest website ever. Love statistics. Okay, so once you create it, you got to log in. Get yourself a login. You can do all that fun stuff. Get yourself all set, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just do a quick evaluation of myself, right? So you type in Scion. And then you look for the name. Click search. Oh, the space. Dope. All right, and then you look for it. Look for a paladin named Scion. Oh, there he is. Right, and here's the evaluations. This is currently, for example, me Holy on Heroic. I'm a 76 percentile right now. Evaluated, and we'll just take like the most recent. We'll click on it. Takes us to our logs here. This is the Dragon Bite upload, so you can pick any of these. So say, for example, you wanted to see how you did on, let's do Tuesday. Tuesday was an absolutely great day. Right, we had all those kills. It's always a great way to go about doing it. And then you come over here where it says compare, right? You click on compare, select the player's name. That's you, right? Now, adjustment that you want to make is right here first and foremost, okay? Get this down to 7 days, because data is going to constantly be coming in, and what you really want is, like, for example, like the second some stuff comes out, if you're questioning your performance, you can go like on the day one as soon as, because like there's all these guilds. There's literally like, I'd say there's probably globally over 60, 70,000 guilds, right, that use this website, that upload data on a consistent basis. So what it does is give you an instant evaluation tool, evaluation tool for performance. So you click on it, right, and then right now there's 15 people in the last 7 days. You can see overall, top 3 in the last 7 days as far as healing on Gorfine on heroic kill. Okay, and what you do is you can look at, well, there's 2 players that did. There's one that's only just a few points higher than me, and then here's one that is, right. So we might as well take a peek and see what's going on. So you click compare on the right hand side, and what that's going to do is give you an edited Warcraft log report that has you and the other player in direct matchup. Okay, so since we're healing, you click on it, and boom, there it is, right? Now clearly the player had this huge spike right here. Okay, now this right here is a timeline graphically of everything that went on during the fight, okay, and how we responded to it and what we did. Now more than likely the person didn't go in here into Gorfine where I did. I know I did at that point, right? Because you can see how it just keeps going down and down and down, and that's when I came back out, and then I was back to healing the group, right? So what you can look at is total output threshold. They did 3 million more heals in this one block, basically, okay? So, but what you can do for yourself, say you're damaged, say you're tanking, etc., you can just sit here and you click on this section with the left click, and then drag it across, and what it's going to do is create an evaluation for that moment, right? And it's going to show, for example, what they did versus what you did in total threshold. So for example, you can look at total holy lights casted, holy prism I used, holy shocks, things like that, and you can evaluate their total thorough output at that point. Now the reason why my beacons, when beacon directly takes all the heals and throws it into the 2, because I was down below and I was only healing really 1 target to 2 targets at best. There's actually a rotation on that I'm working on that my friend taught me, but it's hard. Like, you gotta go in and know what you're doing and do it properly, where you flip a beacon, lay a hands one, and then go to the 3rd target and start healing it, and all of a sudden all of them get healed up. It's really difficult to execute, and I'm still working on it, so I'm kind of clumsy and clunky with it. But eventually, like, if you do it, especially like on Mythic, you'll heal like 3, 4, 5 of them like that, and they'll come out 100% and they won't have anything. But you can also look at, for example, total cast and things like that too. So that's what we'll take a peek at, right? And we'll see, like, for example, they casted 10 more times in the general, and they did, so much more in total threshold. You can look at also buffs, and you get the same thing. Now, one thing is that when pets are activated versus self-applied, you want to turn pets off right here where the pointer is and click on self-applied. And what that's going to show is what you did for yourself to help. Like, for example, they used Avenging Wrath, the Sanctified Wrath. So what they're doing is they're creating this threshold, and what they did was they saw the other healer go in, they activated their healing potential. I save mine for feasts because it just gives me more threshold to heal with in the last like 15-20 seconds that were in feast, versus just trying to base heal with shocks and holy lights over and over and over. I got to remember too to swap my beacons at points during then, because the tanks really don't need it, versus where it could be on other people, for example, like the other healers. It keeps them in the norm, so that way they can spread more healing onto everybody else instead of worrying about themselves. You can also look at, for example, your ranking and the comparisons overall. Like, so for example, like we still have players, for example, that are doing damage thresholds. Like, overall their rankings are really good, but we still get thresholds like this, 15, 9, 7, and 6. So we got to kind of like take a look at where we're doing things and how we're doing it, and try and improve on them as consistently as we can. This is this other person's guild, and as you can see, look at that threshold, man. Like, rankings through and through, great performance, and that's what we want to get to. We're getting close, like we're getting closer, but we want more. We need more bracket participation here. Now that's relative to a couple of factors: attendance. You have to show up, you have to be there, because RNG is unforgiving. Like, whether you're there or not, it doesn't care. It really don't. You might be there for 10 weeks straight and you're not going to win anything. You might not be there at all. You're not going to win anything. It's kind of how it works. But if you're there, at least you have an opportunity, a percentage, a chance to be able to get some pieces, especially tier, trinket, etc. that can really help in your performance. So we want to make sure that we're taking a peek at that and we're doing what we can as consistently. Now go ahead and do another quick comparison. We'll take a look at a DPS. I know Zolt doesn't mind. Straight champion always lets me do this stuff here, so no big deal. Do the same thing, do a comparison. Alright, so Zolt's gear is, right now he's 13th ranked out of the last, 50 players that they listed here in the last 7 days for execution on Gorfine Heroic, right, for his item level. We'll take this cat up here, number 1, and we'll go ahead and do a DPS comparison. Now, same process. Click on damage done. You'll look at it. I mean, look at this. Look at the symmetry between these two. I mean, it's like literally, it's like they were both playing at the same time. Okay? But the difference is there was a moment where 5 million more damage ended up going down, right? And you can see it. It's right here as far as that ramp up, you know? So what you want to do is be like, well, what happened right there, right? And you take a look. You look at their total cast. They ended up getting Hudson. Looks like it's in French. The raid leader's name is Neo. That's awesome. Neo. Right? So what you see is they just ended up getting off more aim shots overall. And one more Chimera shot during that time frame. And you could break it down even more if you want to. You can click, like, see clearly this is where it started. So you click right there. That's where they got 7 aim shots off to his 2. Now he might have gone inside and been drawn in, or he might have also gotten, for example, Touch of Death on Gorfine. So that would directly play a result in, you know, him activating his cooldowns, which, like I said, you can go to buffs, click off pets, self-applied. You'll look at the 2 of them here, and what you have is just a better sequence of activity as far as it becoming active within that time frame. What was that, 20 seconds at 2 minutes? So this is at the beginning, basically, of Feast and how it played out. And so this player just ended up getting more damage threshold. Zolt might have been, for example, clearing up a couple of things. He used Barrage. I'm not really sure the strength of Barrage, for example, on Gorfine. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, you do what you do while you're doing it. You probably would want to go with, well, I mean, they showed what you want to do. You go to damage done and clearly want to do more aim shots than barrages because the difference is 4 million damage. So, you know, just make sure you're focusing on that. And there you go. There's your adjustment. Look at that. Just added 4 million more damage, which is the difference. It's right there. Okay. Now you click on reset zoom, and that turns it into the entire fight, right? And then what you can do is you can also look at buffs. You always want to do that. And like I said, turn off pets, self-applied. And then you want to look at, you know, potion use, for example, in conjunction with rapid fire. Look at that, some synergy there. Unfortunately, he didn't get any thrill of the hunt procs. You know he would have loved that because then it's pew, 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 pew. So, I would also, you know, you can also look at, for example, like rapid fire, for example, is the cooldown. Now, if you have an active trinket, you want to use it at the same time. Ring use. So I think actually you have to have pets on to see ring use. No, that's not correct. Okay, for some reason rings aren't showing right now on it. So, but what you want to do is get your potion in conjunction with your modifier. See, it increases haste by 40%, so that's your multiplier. So whatever increases your haste, whatever increases your percentages for total damage threshold, that's what you want in conjunction with your potion, which is 1,000 to stat. In conjunction with like active trinket, for example, and ring use. Like you want to try to get all of those to synergy at the same time to maximize your total threshold. You know, so as DPS, if you have suggestions involving our outlines, let me know. So that way we can make sure that we're constantly putting together the absolute best time, potentially, to throw out as much damage as we can. Let's do a quick comparison for heals. I did not mean to shut all that down. Nope. Right, so we can do a heal one real quick. Stay on Gorfine. We'll do a comparison for heals. Technically, we already did that, right? Let's do one for tanking. We'll do one for Levixen. Right, so we'll set it to 7 days again. Take a look at it. And Levixen was the #1 tank in total damage done for DPS involving her opportunity. So what we'll do is, let's check Margrave actually then, see where he's at. Okay, so there's a couple of tanks that are a little bit higher, like the Awakening. Go figure. I was in a guild. I actually GM a guild for a while for that. All right, so here we go. And what we do is we look at damage taken. This is for tanks, right? And what you want to do is look at total damage taken and total damage done. And overall, Margrave actually took less damage total. So the comparison is damage done. They ended up doing more damage. They did 6 million more damage. So, you know, there's a mitigation process, and then there's also a total damage process that you can do. And the balance for most tanks that I've found, especially as you rotate into Mythic, is to be able to kind of do both, right? It's really difficult, too, because you have so many different elements that you have to pay attention to. You got to keep your defensive rotation going consistently, but also try to find ways to maximize your total damage threshold without losing that. So what you end up here is just, it's probably, you know, as far as what they casted. So what we'll do is we'll just take a look at total casts. This player did almost twice as many casts. So he did 178 casts to the player's 390. He did Devastate to their Heroic Strike. So I would do more Heroic Strikes. They did 128 and he did 8. So there you go. There's the issue, and that would probably end up giving you quite a bit more potential as far as total damage threshold. But at the same point, it seems that your shield slams, you could do more shield slams, for example. And you could do more revenges, it seems. They were probably using charge also. You know what they were doing? They were probably, you can rotate instead of both tanks. This is something that I actually picked up on when we were doing normal a few days ago on Thursday. Is that one tank has to be on Gorfiend throughout the process, so that way he doesn't freak out. So we just need to designate, like, you know, one tank is responsible for going out and the other tank is responsible for staying. And then, you know, go after it. Because, like, clearly what they were probably doing was charging all over the field to help people kill the ads as quickly as possible, you know. So I would probably just do more of that. It seems like it's quite an opportunity to be able to generate more damage threshold in total. I hope the video helped out. Enjoy it. Comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate it. And y'all have a blessed day. Talk to you later.